How's it going, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Zippy spacers and inlays in your Bxndxge Stitch V2. I've already installed the orange spacers and inlays on the bite handle, so let's go ahead and do the safe handle together. First, I'm going to take a T10 Torx driver and unscrew the pivot. And then I'm going to take a T8 Torx driver and unscrew the bottom spacer screw. And I'm going to carefully pull this slab off. All right, now I'm going to take a thin rigid metal object. In this case, it's a 2mm X key. I'm going to pop out the X inlays that were already installed. The Zen pin fell out, so I'll put that back in. And I'm just going to pull off the spacer. Now, before you install the spacer, you get to decide if you want to leave it empty or add tungsten weights. For reference, each spacer weighs 0.05 ounces. And if you add one tungsten weight, it goes up to 0.071, and the second tungsten weight, 0.093. I'm going to install this without any tungsten weights, but I am going to show you how to install them. The tungsten weights go right next to this X here, and you can just pop them in with the tip of a clicky pen, and they'll snap right in. And if you don't want them, you can remove them by just popping them out with a rigid object here. But let's go ahead and install the spacer. I'm just pushing it down. The spacers index into this X, so you will feel it kind of fall into place there. And now let's go ahead and move on to the inlays. There's going to be two sides to the inlay, depending on which texture you pick. This is a textured inlay. And then there's this sort of lineated side. If you pick the textured, smooth, or hollow side, make sure that's the side that's facing up. That's the side you see. The other thing I want to point out is each of the inlays is going to have this little hole here. Little dot. Oops, sorry. Let's see if the camera can focus on it. So when you install the inlays, you need to make sure that this hole is facing toward the pivots. So I'm going to install the inlay with the textured side facing down, and the hole is toward the pivot side. And I'm just going to press this in. You can use your fingernails. It's really easy if you just poke it in. You can use the tip of a clicky pen or the tip of a Torx driver, and I'm just pressing it down like that. Let's go ahead and do the other one.
Print complete.
I recommend starting off just pushing in with your fingernail and then going through and pressing it in. And it should snap into place. You don't want these falling out when you're flipping, so you want it to be nice and secure. Perfect. All right. Now we're ready to reassemble, so we'll put the top slab back on. And I'm going to screw in this pivot screw. I'm not going to tighten all the way, not yet. And now we're going to do the spacer screw. You'll want to push these handles together while you screw this in. You might need to actually press it. You'll probably feel it snap together, and that's just the X indexing on the spacer kind of snapping into the handle. And now we'll tighten that. And now I'm going to do one last tighten on the pivot. All right. And that is how you switch out your spacers and inlays on your Bxndxge V2. Thanks for watching, y'all.